Here I'm going to get into that third roll we got in that set of 11 wheat cents from eBay. It was supposed to be 10, but they gave me 11. On one side we have a 1931 Philadelphia, which only has 19 million mintage. So that is a pretty nice coin, just as an ender. And the other side we have a 1943 out of San Francisco. So let's get into this. I cannot wait any longer. Let's get this roll open and see what she's hiding. Okay, I see 2 steel cents and 1 probable Indian head. Let's get it out of this paper. Be very careful. That was probably about the least careful thing I think I've ever done, but I appreciate you bearing with me. Okay, here we can see we have 1 steel cent. It has got a lot of glare. Anyway, that is a steel cent. There's a steel cent. And that looks like it for steel cents. The Indian head I was talking about is... Maybe I was a liar. Let's see, right here, the second one in. What are you? Not an Indian head, so we might not have an Indian head, but there might be one in there anyway. So let's just go through them, shall we? Here we have the ender, the 1931 out of San Francisco, has 19 million minted, the semi-key date. So I will definitely take that. Next up, we have a 1942 Philadelphia, which is 657 million. 657 million, pretty high mintage, not in bad shape though. I will definitely keep that. And moving on to a steel cent. What does the steel cent is this? This is a 1943 Philadelphia, which has 684 million. All of those steel cents have relatively high mintages, but they are cool to have. Next, moving on to the 1944 San Francisco, which has 282 million. Not bad. Moving on to the 1925 out of Denver. The 1925 Denver has 22 million. That's a key date. I will take that. Sorry I'm talking like an auctioneer. It's just kind of fun. Kind of makes the video go a little faster anyway. Next we have a 1948 Philadelphia. The 1948 Philadelphia has 317 million. I was kind of expecting something a little better. I don't see many of these. Maybe I'm just lucky to not get the high dates. I do not know. What is this one? We have a 1935 Philadelphia, which comes in at 245 million. And moving on, I see a steel cent just waiting to be grabbed. What are you? You are the 1943 San Francisco, which has 191 million. Lowest mintage of the steel cents. Not in bad shape. Next, moving on to a 1951 San Francisco, 284 million. Next, we have a relatively uncirculated one. Looks pretty shiny, see that? What are you? A 1958? Oh, of course, the last year of the wheat cent, 252 million out of Philadelphia. Moving on to what's going to be a 54 Philadelphia. The 54 Philadelphia has 71 million. Not the highest mintage. I will take it. Moving on to, wait for it, a 1932 Philadelphia. The 1932 out of Philadelphia is only 9 million. I definitely do not have one of these. That might even be the most key date I have found thus far in this series. The 1932 Philadelphia. She is beautiful. I was not expecting that. 9 million. I will take that. Oh, I see an Indian head. Almost looks like it's been cleaned though. Coming up. 1893. 1893 Indian head. I have to go in my book for this one. 1893 Indian head has 46 million. Relatively high mintage for the Indian heads, but I will take it. It's always nice to get an Indian. Next up is the 1951 San Francisco 136,010,000. 1951 San Francisco. After that is the 1931 Philadelphia. No, 1937. Sorry, the 1937 Philadelphia. 309 million. 309 million. Let's take one right out of the middle. Sorry, my hand is always in the way. I've got a very fat hand and a very bad camera. Okay, so now that we got that out of the way, we are moving on to the 1952 San Francisco, which has 137,800,000. Next up is the, what are you? A 1918 San Francisco. The 1918 San Francisco has 34 million. I would consider that a key date, and I will definitely take that. She's pretty worn indeed, but I will take it definitely. Moving on to a 1946 San Francisco at 198 million. Next in line is the 1939 Philadelphia at 316,466,000. This coin has been around for a lot of years, folks, but somehow it landed on my table. I will take that, even though it's a higher mintage. The coin has some history. Next up, the 1952 out of San Francisco has 137,800,004. Next contestant is a 1950 out of San Francisco, which has 118,505. 118 million, that is. Next is a 1958 Denver, which has 800 million. 800 million, folks. There's a few of these around, and if you find them in circulation, they are likely to be later 50s because, well, they're newer and they made a lot more of them. Next up, it's Abraham Lincoln. I already made that joke. The 1915 out of Denver. The 1915 Denver, 22 million. I will take that. 22 million. Less than 50 million is okay in my book. I forgot to show the back. You're like, you always forget to show the back. I know. I get in a hurry. I'm excited. I'm sorry. The 1915 Denver. Next up after that, we have a 1945 San Francisco, which has 181 million. Not bad. I just want to get through this roll, trying to make the videos a little shorter because it is a serious pain to upload a half-an-hour video on my internet connection. So my apologies if I seem to be rushing, but you guys get the same content anyway. I'm just not saying and ha at everything. So I'm going a little faster today, guys. We have a 1946 Denver. The 1946 Denver has 315 million mintage. I will take that. Coming up is a 1955 Philadelphia, relatively uncirculated, very shiny. The 1955 out of Philadelphia has 330 million. 330 million. Pretty good detail yet. I will take that. We got a 1941S. The 1941 out of San Francisco is 92,360,000. It's fairly worn. Not a bad coin for being 80 years old. Next up, we have a 1927 out of San Francisco. The 1927 San Francisco, whoa, slow down. The 1927 San Francisco has 14 million. I will take that. I would say this roll is going a little better than the last one I opened. And I'm glad because I've got 9 more. Hopefully they're all like this. That is a nice coin. Next up is the 1948 out of San Francisco at 81,735,000. And coming up next, we have a 1952 out of Philadelphia, which is 186 million. Nothing special here, just a wheat cent. Next up, the 1956 Denver. 1,098,201,100 of these minted. So, that I believe is actually the highest mintage. No, the 1944 has a higher mintage. But I will take it, nonetheless. Here we have an oddly colored penny. Oh, it is a 1943 something or other. That is either a 1943S or a 1943 Denver. It's really hard to tell. I don't know if any amount of cleaning will actually fix that. It looks to me like it's an S, and I think that might be what I'm going to go with because that is the rarest of the steel cents. So I'm going to call this a 1943S, even though I've already got multiple in better condition. But anyway, it's always nice to find a steel cent. I did not even notice this one because it's oddly colored, very corroded, full of gunk, if you will. Next up, we have I dropped it. Hopefully it's not, okay, good. It's nothing super rare. The 1945 out of San Francisco, 181 million. Watch, it would have been like a 1909 SVDB, and I would have dropped it. It would have like broke in half, defied the laws of physics, cracked right in half. That would have been my luck. Next up, we have the 1956 out of Denver, again, 1,098,000,000. Come on, SVDB. 1953 out of San Francisco is definitely not a 1909 SVDB, but it does in fact have 181 million. So just a few more mintage than the SVDB, but I will take it. Next up, we have a 1940 San Francisco. The 1940 San Francisco has 112,940,000. Coming up is the 1950 Denver. The 1950 Denver has 334,950,000. The next one in line is a 1945 San Francisco. The 1945 San Francisco, 181,770,000. I'm not even mad. We've got some really nice key dates and semi-key dates, so I would take that. Ooh, a 1913 out of Philadelphia. The 1913 Philadelphia, 76,532,000. It's pretty worn, but I was not expecting to find one this old. This roll's been primarily 40s and 50s, and a couple 30s. But that's a nice surprise. Moving on, we have an Abraham Lincoln. Who would have thought? Ooh, a 1912, making a liar out of me, but that is fine. The 1912, 68,153,000. I will take that. Next up, the next victim, coin, is a 1954 out of Philadelphia. The 1954 Philadelphia, 71,640,000. And after that is an upside down, or it was, a 1945 S. Again, 198,100,000. Next is a 1955 out of Denver. The 1955 Denver, 563 million. 563 million. We're getting down there, guys. A 1946 out of Denver. The 1946 Denver, 315 million. Doesn't it kind of look like that 6 has had a rough life? There's something going on there. It looks kind of big and kind of gone, if you know what I'm saying. I'd say this coin has had a rough life, unless there is some error I do not know about for the 1946 out of Denver, but I don't think so. I think that's just post-mint wear, circulation kind of stuff. What do we have here? 1945 out of San Francisco, which is 181,770,000. And after that is a 1937 San Francisco, 34 million. Another key date. I do not know if I have one of these, but I will definitely check. 1937 out of San Francisco with a little bit of green crust on Abe's hair, but I will take it. Next up, we have a 1951 out of San Francisco. The 1951 San Francisco, 136,010,000. And after that is a 1955 San Francisco, which is 44,610,000. That is a nice one, although I have one in better shape than this, so not an upgrade. It's got a little, like it was burnt. Maybe somebody was playing with it with a lighter. Who knows? Got some black crusties on there. Not a bad coin, though. Next up, we have a 1950 Denver. The 1950 Denver, 334,950,000. Getting down there. This one looks old. I'll show you the back. This is the side I could see. Doesn't that look pretty worn to you? Looks like it's going to be in the teens. We'll see if I'm right or not. Oh no, it's a 1927 Philadelphia. The 1927 Philadelphia, 144 million. If it was a 1927 out of Denver, it would have 27 million. But you can't win them all. We have a 1953 out of San Francisco. The 1953 San Francisco is 181,835,000. I'm going to be so good at saying numbers. It's got some post-mint damage on the back. Something marked it up pretty good right in there. Coming up is the 1949 San Francisco. 64,290,000. Got some scratches. And after that is the 1956 out of Denver. 1,098,000,000. I should just spend this one. I'm just kidding, guys. I wouldn't spend a wheat cent, but still. Not the best coin of the day by far. We owe another 1956 Denver. I guess maybe that's because they made over a billion of them. But that is the end of my roll, guys, and I appreciate you watching. I'm really excited to go through the rest of them. Sorry if I went kind of fast today. I'm just trying to kind of streamline the process because the videos don't need to be so long. If all I'm going through them, saying the mintage, and that's it. They don't need to be a half an hour long. I just have to go through 50 pennies, and I'm trying to get better at that. So I appreciate you being patient, and thanks for watching.